first up, the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana is calling for a policy on expenditure rationalization and value for money projects, amongst others, to enable the country deliver projects more efficiently and enhance the fiscal economy. Mr. Dr. Matthew Opoku-Afari said no matter the efforts made towards enhancing domestic revenue mobilization, failure to rationalize public expenditure will trigger continuous chronic fiscal deficit and growing debt levels. He was speaking at a public lecture organized by the University of Ghana Business School.
Ghana's infrastructure deficit is estimated at about $7 billion annually over the next 10 years. According to the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afari, there's the need to implement a policy to account for government spending and ensure value for money projects. He believes the high levels of government spending calls for fiscal consolidation that is targeted at reducing overall financing gap to sustainable levels and achieving structural fiscal balance over the medium term.
The first is the need to enhance efficiency of public spending, expenditure rationalization, and the value for money projects that will deliver projects more efficiently. No matter the efforts we make towards enhancing domestic revenue mobilization, we will continue to experience chronic fiscal deficits and a growing debt burden if we do not take steps to rationalize our expenditure levels. The high levels of government spending required to close the huge infrastructure deficit and debt are limiting fiscal room for maneuver. This therefore calls for the kind of fiscal consolidation that involves both revenue-raising measures and expenditure rationalization policies with the aim of reducing the overall fiscal deficit to sustainable levels and achieving structural fiscal balance over the medium term.
Dr. Opoku-Afari also suggested that a strong policy is developed to enforce tax collection of the informal sector. He indicated that when taxation is formalized, it will increase the tax net as only 2.4 million Ghanaians are tax compliant.
It beggars to believe that a country of over 30 million with over 16 million active Momo users, which is an indication of economically active persons, there are only 2.4 million individual taxpayers. That this really shows that we have the capacity to deliver. It is not going to be possible to meet our developmental needs with such a tax base and help widen the tax net. The replacement of TIN numbers with the Ghana card has increased the registered TIN numbers from some 5 million to over 15 million. This will help bring in a lot more people into the tax bracket going forward and facilitate the raising of revenue from a large informal sector. The informal sector comprises micro and small enterprises and will require a simplified and modified tax system to bring them into the tax fold. It is for this reason that the recent announcement by the Vice President of the Republic to introduce the modified taxation regime is very critical and could unlock the binding constraint to tax collection in Ghana.
Meanwhile, Acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nanaba Apia Amfo, has charged government to fulfill its promises to the private sector. She holds that a self-resilient economy depends on a booming private sector.
For the private sector to be the engine of growth for inclusive and sustainable development, it is important for government to establish credibility beyond doubt that it is managing its resources well through a robust macroeconomic system, well-functioning institutions, and a well-regulated and efficient financial system. It is my hope that tonight's lecture and deliberations afterwards will lead this country to think critically to tackle the issue of macroeconomic management head-on and rethink options for development finance, especially with regard to expenditure rationalization and domestic revenue mobilization, in addressing our developmental needs as a country as we seek the path of self-sufficiency in financing developmental projects.